السلام عليكم اخوتي احبتي، تحياتي لكم. كما راكم تشوفوا مباشره من بلديه ايزلينغتون، وهذه احدى بلديات شمال لندن. فيه تظاهره اليوم او مسانده لما يجري هنا من الحمله الشعواء ضد المسلمين. عندكم البث هذا وان شاء الله. السلام عليكم، حياك الله. اين هم الجزائريين هذول اللي يشبعونا بالصفحات؟ وراهم في بريطانيا. وراكم وين نراكم يا جماعه الهف؟ صرتونا غير بالخلايع. المهم خلطنا كما تعرفوا اليوم هذا يوم سموه بيوم الانتقام من المسلمين. هذو جماعه يعني غالبيتهم ليسوا بمسلمين، ستاند اب، جماعه فيهم ضد العنصريه وجمعيات اخرى بينها نواب وخوتي. المهم نخليكم الحدث. بلديه ايزلينغتون واحده من بلديه لندن وعددها 32 بلديه. هنا هذا عقر دار السيد جيرمي رئيس حزب العمال. يعني بلديه ايزلينغتون يعني معروفه، ما نسكنوا في مقربه من هذه البلديه خوتنا. يا زناتي، السلام عليكم افضل اخي. سلام. خوتنا شاروا هذا المقطع حتى خوتنا يبارطاجوا هذا المقطع وشارع على الاقل خوتنا الاخرين في المناطق الاخرى يشوفوه. وهكذا يعني شوف خوتنا يعني كاينه وقفات في كل تقريبا معظم البلديات اللندنيه. حتى في الايام السابقه كانت هناك وقفات تضامنيه مع المسلمين وهكذا. يعني هذه جماعه عنصريين، يعني اقليه، وربما يكون شخص واحد بالك خارج البلاد دار هذه الضجه. وكما تعرفوا كاين اطراف خارجيه. هنا جماعه ما شاء الله، يا جماعتنا يوزعوا ورود. السلام عليكم. يوم جميل ان شاء الله، نرى الورود. شرطه طبعا. في ناس محبين الاقليات، وهذا الناس العنصريين يعني قلال. هنايا ناس راهي مولوده هنا، راهم بريطانيين. الان الجاليه اللي عندهم العقد الثالث هنا ما بقاوش اقليات. فهمتوا خوتي؟ راهم بالجنسيه وبقاو يعني باقيين جزء من هذا البلد هذه. فهمتوا؟ كاين زاد هنا، كاين اللي فهمتوا خوتي؟
My name is Paul Holbrow. I help organise Stand Up to Racism in Islington, and I want to extend a very warm welcome to everybody who's here. I think we have a really great cross-section of the community. We've got people from the Muslim community, and I want to pay tribute particularly to the Muslim sisters at the back who've had the courage to come out today. We have other members of the Somali community. We have members from Finsbury Park Mosque here. We have, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, councillors, Labour councillors. I don't fully understand the further question, but anyway, you're extremely welcome from the Labour Party. And we have the GMB, the Manual Workers Union in the council. We have the Teachers Union. We have Unison. and we have many more. Apologies if, sorry, I see David there and Julia, from the Jewish Socialist Group.
Caroline from the Green Party.
And exactly, Caroline from the Green Party. So you're all extremely welcome, because I dare say there are one or two arguments between us, but what unites us is so much more important, because today is a really serious day, because a few weeks ago a vile post on social media said punish a Muslim, and let me tell you what it actually said. You can gain 10 points if you verbally abuse a Muslim. You gain 25 points for ripping off the hijab or the scarf. You gain 50 points if you throw acid in the face of a Muslim woman. You gain 100 points if you beat up a Muslim woman. And you gain 1,000 points if you burn down or bomb a mosque. Now this is quite shocking. It's particularly shocking here in Islington for people to receive that letter, because we remember our fallen comrade Markan Ali, who was murdered on the 19th of June last year, and we have among us also others who were injured in that attack that was inspired by the growing acceptance by people who should know better. Donald Trump, I hope you're listening, because they have been encouraged by the rampant Islamophobia that people have to face. And I think the message from this meeting is that this Islamophobic attack, this Islamophobic campaign, has to be met certainly by the Muslim brothers and sisters here today and across the borough, but equally by non-Muslims. That is the lesson of Germany in the 1930s, where Jew and non-Jew should have stood together to resist the rise of the foul ideas of Nazis and Hitler. And this is such an important issue that across the country, Stand Up to Racism, in conjunction with many other organisations that I've already gone through in Islington, are organising similar events. So this is going to be a national response to an outrage of that letter in social media. The final thing I want to say before I introduce a series of speakers is that today broke very well for us, because Kevin Courtney, the General Secretary of the National Education Union, plus delegates, went outside their conference centre and held up a selfie saying, "Respect a Muslim, fight Islamophobia." That's the sort of lead that we need from the trade unions. You're giving it today, but colleagues and comrades, the challenge ahead of us is great, and this is just the beginning. I'd now like to introduce to you our first speaker. I shall still continue to call her Councillor Rakia Ismail. I hope I'm not breaking the electoral law. And Rakia has been one of the founding members of Islington Stand Up to Racism, and she is enormously welcome on this platform once again.
Hello, thank you. I first and foremost greet you the universal greetings of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace be upon you all. May peace be upon you all. And first and foremost, again and again, I would like to thank the organizers, Islington Council, and all our mosques in Islington, and all the supporters of diverse community. Thank you so much. Today is not an easy day for many Muslims, particularly women and children, especially when there is a half term. They are all worried to come out, and that's why, as a local council, as a Muslim woman, as a member of the community, to come out and show solidarity and tell Muslim women and families not to be scared. Be defiant, be cautious, and respect all. Thank you so much. And also I would like to say, today and many more days is not going to be easy as long as Trump is in office. The next 4 years is not going to be easy, and we have to be defiant and respect everyone. And also I like to mention, Muslim in Islam is all about peace, and when it's peace, respect your neighbor, respect your friends, and we have many more friends going for and supporting us, the most diverse community. And I would like to thank you so much, and we will be respecting, and we have more friends than the cowards.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That's fantastic. I'd now like to ask the Deputy Leader of Islington Council, Councillor... Sorry.
Yes, for community safety.
Sorry, the Executive Member for Community, but you never know, Andy, your time might come. You're very welcome.
Thanks very much. Do I just press the button? Thank you, Paul. Can you all hear me? Is that working? Shout, yeah? Can you hear that? Thank you, Paul. Thank you for the impromptu promotion. I'm here today on behalf of, I guess, Islington Council, but also the Labour Party, and myself and all of my colleagues and comrades and friends, to say that Islington as a place is richer and is stronger for its diversity. Everything we do is better for having a range of voices contributing to it. I've just been very involved in drafting, for instance, the Labour Party's manifesto for this next set of elections coming up soon. That document is a lot better because a lot of different voices from a lot of different backgrounds contributed to it. But last June, as we've heard, a terrorist by the name of Darren Osborne came to Finsbury Park to try and divide our diverse community. I was there that night in Finsbury Park, and I can tell you, thankfully, that he had the opposite effect. What that attack did was bring together not just Finsbury Park, but all of Islington across all of its diversity as one, to stand shoulder to shoulder and side by side in the face of that hatred. And just as in the aftermath of that attack, I see here today, with thanks to Mohammed Kosbar and Finsbury Park Mosque, we've got flowers that are being given out in solidarity, just as we did after that attack. We've got badges that many of us are wearing. Make sure you get one before you leave. I wanted to say thank you to Councillor Kaya Schwartz and to Colin Adams from the Hate Crime Forum, who turned around these badges, despite some doubters, in no time at all over the course of this last week. And that just shows that people are prepared to put their money and their effort where their mouth is when it comes to making a stand against racism and Islamophobia here in Islington. And we stand against all forms of hate crime here. That includes Islamophobia, that includes anti-Semitism, that includes hate crime against LGBT colleagues, that includes hate crime against the disabled and other groups besides. And we have a cross-partnership strategy as a council, together with the police, victim support and other organisations, to tackle hate crime in our midst. The police do take it seriously. Colleagues from the mosques will know that the police are often there on a Friday afternoon talking about hate crime and how they want to address it. But the fact remains that too often in this borough, those who perpetrate hate crime get away with it. And we need to see more by way of sanctioned detections by the police, because if we do want people to have confidence and trust in the police that they take this seriously, then all the warm words in the world in the end don't count for as much as some arrests and some convictions. And what we need is for the police to catch these people and show them that they will be brought to justice, because that's the best way to encourage our brothers and sisters to report hate crime when they experience it, as sadly they likely will in the future. So we need more people to report hate crime. I'm aware of how few hate crimes were reported in and around Finsbury Park in the weeks after that terrorist attack last year. And yet, every time I met a Muslim woman in the area, they told me they were getting spat at and called names and having their hijab pulled off on an almost daily basis. So there was a big gap between people saying they were being the subject of hate crime every day and a very small number of reports ever reaching the police. And I just want to say, unless people make these reports to the police, then the police will never catch these people and they won't be brought to justice and they won't be brought to book. So please do, if you witness or suffer a hate crime of any type, make sure you report it so that we can bring the offenders to justice. So around here, will we punish a Muslim? No, of course not. Will we respect and love our Muslim brothers and sisters? Yes, because around here we respect all our neighbours and Islington is no place for hate. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Andy, and thank you to Islington Labour Party North and South for the support that you have shown Stand Up to Racism, and more importantly, the way in which you participate in all our activities. That's fantastic. I'd now like to call one of the imams from Finsbury Park Mosque, Admiral Masroor. You're very welcome, Admiral. Over to you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for not elevating me to any new positions. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings of God be upon you all. It is very strange I stand here today, firstly in protest to this terrible social media campaign to punish a Muslim, and also it's very strange to stand here together to actually demand what is our basic human right. My father came to this country in 1956. I've got bad news for the Muslim haters or Islamophobes. My father came to this country in 1956, and guess what? He took over the country. He has taken over all the jobs. He has made all of you homeless. How absurd and bizarre is it? You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Actually, Bangladesh is where my parents come from. They have taken over this country. They supply you the largest amount of curry and rice that you eat every day. Even the nutters who go out and say, punish a Muslim, they'll probably go to a curry house in the evening and fill their stomach because they can't say without it. It's very strange, really. It's hilarious. Second thing I've got a good news to give you. Well, Muslims are here to stay. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Good. Go on, let's say it. We're staying here for long, right? We're here to stay. My father said to me when he came here, he said, I want to go back in 10 years' time and never to come back again. He just died 3 months ago. May God have mercy on his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, he didn't go very far. He stayed here and he died here. Where did he go? This is our home. Exactly. It's the home of my children. It's going to be children's home and the future generations' home. So I've got good news for the Islamophobes. We're here to stay. If we've got bad news for you, you've got no place to stay. And I'll be very happy to give you flowers. I'll be very happy to open up my home for you. In fact, I'll be very happy to share my food with you, my mosque with you, my faith with you, and my humanity with you. Ladies and gentlemen, final message to you all. I have a young daughter, and she tells me she's young, but she is still very frightened of going out on the street. I have a wife who wears a hijab. I've got a mother who wears hijab. I've got a sister who wears hijab. When they go outside on the street, I often wonder what kind of hate crime they face. Ladies and gentlemen, you will never know unless you wear a hijab one day. I want to put a challenge to you. Put a hijab one day and go outside and see what you see and how people look at you. And how people look at you with disdain, with distaste, as though you are some sort of an infectious disease. As though you have some sort of an alien who's landed and you don't belong here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in our country in Britain, we've got Muslims, Christians, Jewish people, Hindu people, Sikhs, Buddhists, people of faith and no faith. And we're all brothers and sisters in humanity. And we'll remain brothers and sisters in humanity. Nobody will take it away from us. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are more similar than different. Do you know why? I married a Hungarian woman. I'm Bangladeshi. How strange is that combination? So when people ask me, what are you? I'm British Bangladeshi. When they ask my wife, what are you? I'm Hungarian British. And we ask our children, what are you? They're totally confused. Actually, they're not. If they speak to their friends in their school, they say we're English. If they speak to my mother, they say they're Banglish, Bengali and English together. If they speak to their grandmother from my wife's side, they say they're Hunglish, Hungarian and English together. Underlying identity for my children is that they're English, that they're British, they're Muslims, and they're very proud of it. And I am very proud to be a British, a Muslim, and I belong here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Admiral. Your message is absolutely clear. Hands off the hijab. Muslims, Jews, migrants of any origin, any ethnicity are welcome here. We will not be divided. Now I'm going to call Councillor Claudia Webb next, and then any people who would like to take photographs will have a photo opportunity facing this way with banners and so on and so forth. But Claudia has been a complete stalwart of Islington Stand Up to Racism. She's chaired many of our meetings, and it's with great pleasure I now give her the megaphone.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that introduction. I bring solidarity and greetings because, of course, ours is a struggle in unity. I'm really pleased to see so many of us standing here in unity, in defiance against those that want to divide us, those that want to carry out hate against us, those that want us to live in fear. What we're saying, we don't accept that because we're standing here together in unity, and we're saying no to racism, no to Islamophobia, no to hate, no to anti-Semitism of any kind, because that's not what we're about. And as we stand here in unity together, we remember not only those that operate at the grassroots of our communities, understanding what it's like to be black in this United Kingdom, understanding what it's like to be black, to be different, but knowing that we have the strength of our common unity working together, knowing that we have us all together supporting us and giving us the support that is necessary, because with that support, with our strength and with our unity, it means that we can say no to those racists that want to divide us, and we can say no to those who want to look at our children and say that they don't have any rights. When we look at racism, ours is not just a national struggle. Ours is an international struggle as we stand side by side with refugees and migrants. Why? They are here because we were there, and we have a responsibility to ensure that when African American brothers and sisters are gunned down by people on the streets of America wearing uniforms, that our responsibility is to stand side by side with them, because ours is also an international struggle. And when people are here facing racism on a daily basis, ours is a struggle that says that we will stand side by side with them. And when our young people are facing heat on the streets, ours is a struggle that says that we will stand side by side with them. And we won't allow, and we cannot allow any racists to divide us. We cannot allow those that perpetrate hate to divide us. We stand here in unity because that's what we're about. We don't walk away. We stand here together. We stand together with our Muslim brothers and sisters. We stand together with those who are refugees and migrants. We stand together with those who are facing heat on our streets. We stand together with black young people. It is not just when we need our votes that we come together. We come together all of the time because ours is the struggle that unites us. And when we're united, no racist can divide us. Ours is one together. And we will not allow our children to be persecuted on the streets. We will not allow our children to be persecuted at school. We will not allow our children to be persecuted at the hands of a police officer either. Ours is one where we remain together because we are united. And this movement, the Stand Up to Racism movement, reflects many movements of us working together. And we have done it for decades, and we will continue to do it until we say enough is enough. So let's continue to work together, to fight together, to unite together, to say enough is enough. We will not tolerate racism, hate, Islamophobia or anti-Semitism of any kind. Ours is a united struggle. Thank you.
Bravo. Bravo. Thank you very much, Claudia. Before I call the next speaker, have the people taken the photographs they want? Or have you all got your banners up and made your views very clear? Yes? Okay, the next person, because I'm going to call, is Dean Ryan from Islington Unison. One of the features of Islington Stand Up Against Racism, and indeed Stand Up Against Racism nationally, is our commitment to have both the trade unions and the communities involved. And Dean is an important representative, as will other speakers be when they take the platform. So Dean Ryan from Unison.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. As Paul said, I'm a Unison shop steward, and I'm really, really proud to be here today and that my union is supporting this event, and that my union, not only today, but throughout the years that Stand Up to Racism has been formed, has been a firm backer. I'd also like to say a big thank you to the council. It was really heartening for me that the first thing I saw when I turned on my computer today was a message from the council telling people about today's protest and telling people that there's no to hate crime and to come up. And I'd really like to applaud the council for that. I think it's really, really, really important. Some people might think, why are we coming out today? Why are we giving the racists fuel by saying they put something on their social media? Why are we responding? It's only words. And I have to say to you, it's really important that we take every action, every threat, really, really, really seriously. This may surprise some of you, my youthful looks. I actually grew up in the late 70s and early 1980s. And that was a time when racism was rife in London and throughout the country. It was a time when the National Front was really, really strong. And I'll tell you what that meant for me as a young black boy. It meant that when I was walking down the street in Hoxton Market with my sister, we were regularly spat at. We were called nigger, we were called wogs. I remember people need to talk about, and this is why it's important that we come out today. People need to openly talk about going pecky bashing, horrible phrase. But it's true, people need to go out and they need to beat up Asian people for no other fact that they were Asian. This is what these words lead to. So it's important that we fight back. But all of a sudden, there was a change. The graffiti went. The racism got less. Why is that? I'll tell you why it wasn't. It wasn't because people decided they were going to ignore it and wish it went away. It wasn't because people decided that they were going to pander to the arguments about immigrants lowering wages and taking housing. No, we didn't do that. The reason why that racism went away is because black and white, Jew and Gentile, gay and straight, got together and formed protests like this today, and we decided that we were going to drive the racism off our streets, and it's really, really, really important. So it's important to keep on fighting. I have to say one other thing. Some of you might have seen in the news that that certain people are trying to smear Jeremy Corbyn as being an anti-Semite. Rubbish! I'm telling you, that's absolute rubbish. In the summer, only this summer, I was at an event in London Fields, an event that spoke out against hate crime. And Jeremy Corbyn organised that event, and I'll tell you who was there. The local rabbi, the local imam. We were all there together, united, and that's the legacy that Jeremy Corbyn has got in this borough. I've known Jeremy Corbyn for 20 odd years, and I've never seen a more active politician out opposing racism. So that's what we need to say to the media. We don't want your lies. I'd just like to end by saying something as well. I think it's really important that we're here today. There's a slogan in the anti-racist movement. It's Islamophobia, no way. Muslim people here to stay. And I'd like you all to join me and say, Islamophobia?
No way!
Muslim people?
Here to stay!
Islamophobia?
No way!
Muslim people?
Here to stay!
Solidarity, brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Dean. Our next speaker is Mohammed Kosbar from the Finsbury Park Mosque. Once again, we've worked very closely with Finsbury Park over the past year or so, and it's with great pleasure I give you Mohammed.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. In my way this morning here, I found few eggs being thrown to my house and to my car. This has happened today morning. I don't know why this happened. I don't know whether this happened because of this letter or in coincidence it happened today. My wife had to call the police today to report this incident because I was busy preparing for this event. Well, this gives us the scale of Islamophobia and the scale of racism we are facing today. Punish a Muslim Day is normalized Islamophobia. How many media, how many politicians talk about it?
Yes, exactly.
Did we see the cover for this story? In my way here, I read the Metro. Nothing being mentioned about it. Nothing at all. It is now acceptable to attack Muslims as a normal thing. Nobody cares about it. Families are suffering. 3 million people are suffering. This happening in the 21st century in the UK. In a country we believe it is a civilized country, a democratic country, and nothing being done about it. Our children are suffering, our younger generation are suffering. Some of them are asking, are we still belong to this country? We've been discriminated against. In NHS, in education, in jobs, in housing. What do we expect from this generation? We need to make sure that they believe that they are belong to here. They were born here. They were grown up here. They speak only language, English language, and still they feel that. This is not acceptable, brothers and sisters.
Yep.
This is not acceptable at all. Not from the politicians, not from the media. This bunch of tiny minority of extremists try to put a fear in more than 3 million citizens and residents in this country. Is this acceptable? We shouldn't let this go away. And this is why, from here, I urge everybody, it is the time now to tell the government that we need protection. We need legislation as any other religion to protect Muslims in this country. And as many said, we are here to stay. Our children are here to stay. They are not going anywhere. And therefore, we expect as well from the police to get to the bottom of this issue and find out who's behind it. Because if we want to reassure the community, we need to get to the bottom of this issue and to make sure nobody ever think about doing something like that. If this happened to, believe me, if this happened to another community or to another faith, we'll see different reaction. We will see different reaction from the police, from the media, from the government. This is not acceptable. I'm talking because I heard it from a lot of our community. Enough is enough. Yeah. Enough is enough. Yeah. We can't accept this anymore. So please, we need your help. Our friends, our local communities, our neighbors, we need to get together, united against those who try to divide us and spread hatred, fear, and division. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohammed. What Mohammed said just now, we have to realise that unfortunately there are probably tens of thousands of Muslim women who have decided to stay at home today because they are afraid. I was campaigning on Saturday for the freedom of Palestine, and I met a young woman wearing the hijab who works around here, who told me she will not be coming into work today because she does not feel safe. Now, while I have every sympathy with that sister, and indeed other sisters at home, the message from Mohammed, from others, and from this meeting is, you are our brothers and sisters, come out and stand with us against these people who want to hate us, and in the end they want to destroy us. This is not going to happen. We are the big majority here, and one of the examples of the majority is the support from the trade unions. And I now want to call upon George Sharkey from the GMB to give you a few words.
Hello everybody. Right, the first thing I want to tell everyone is that everyone deserves a place to live and work without fear of prosecution. Right. You hear me?
Speak up.
Hello?
Speak up.
Hear me now. Right, everyone deserves a place where they can live and work without prosecution from anyone. Okay? And to do this, everyone must play their part. Those that don't play their part are not welcome in Islington. Right? Now, the 31st of March was the foundation of the GMB Trade Union. And Will thought there was one quote that's probably apparent for today, and that is, it's easy to break one stick, but when you've got a bundle of 50, it's far difficult. And I can see there's more than 50 people here, and stand up to racism is growing. And when Mohammed said the government needs to take action, they do need to take action. Yeah. We can't have this on our doorsteps. I'm from a multicultural family. If it happened to my kids, I would go out, and that is why I joined with Stand Up to Racism. We shouldn't be living in this day and age, coming into work, being insulted at homes. Racism needs to be stamped out, and it needs to be stamped out now. And we've got loads of people here from all nationalities. We've got councillors here that come out, even though maybe they shouldn't be, I'm pretty, but they're still out here because they support the community. And that's why we all need to support the community. We all need to join together. When there's big demonstrations in London, we need to be there. 12th of March to stand up to racism. What a fantastic march. Fantastic speakers from all nations. We need to join together so our children can grow up in a safer environment. Okay? Bye.
Thank you, George. Our next speaker is David Rosenberg from the Jewish Socialist Group. David.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here to bring complete and unconditional support and solidarity to our brothers, sisters and neighbours in Islington's Muslim communities. As we look beyond Islington, across Europe, we can see a terribly disturbing picture. We see growing Islamophobia, growing anti-Semitism, growing anti-Roma prejudice, growing bigotry against many targets. These hatreds don't rise separately, they rise together. But we can make them fall together if we unite. Yes. I taught in a primary school in Islington for 22 years. And when I think back to the families, the children that I taught, they were from families who collectively speak dozens and dozens and dozens of home languages. When it comes to and that is just incredibly enriching. But when it comes to our enemies, the racists and fascists, they don't have many languages. They know the language of hate, they know the language of fear, they know the language of despair. I almost feel sorry for them, but not quite. And what they fear most is what you see here. Yes. What they fear most is a community of many cultures that enjoys living, working and celebrating together. Finally, we are in the middle of the Jewish festival of Passover, and Passover is a festival of freedom, of liberation. And on this Passover, I look forward to the day when Muslims and all minorities are free from fear. Thank you.
Thank you, David. An important message there that we all stand together, Jew and Gentile, Muslim. Tawfiq Kachini from the Muslim Welfare House. Tawfiq, needless to say, as with Mohammed, has been another stalwart of Stand Up to Racism inside Islington. Tawfiq.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming today. It is a pleasure to be with you here. On my way commuting to work today this morning, I saw amazing sceneries. I saw on the bus and in the ground a lot of sisters with hijab, just like the ones behind you here. Big applause for them, please, because they are here to challenge those ones who want to spread hatred. Subhanallah, yes, the ones and some ones, not the many, the ones are trying to divide us. But what I have seen today in the underground, what I have seen today in the bus, lots of sisters with hijab and all others around them, giving them a good, nice smile like this. Yes, that is the real British attitude. Those are the many, not the few, that want to divide us. It is not part of the British value to spread hate. It is not part of the British value to spread violence or extremism or racism. Yesterday we had an event at Muslim Welfare House and many people came to us and said, why are you going to do this bazaar? It's going to be empty, no one is going to come. Well, pleased to have people, and guess what? Most of them was people with sisters with scarves. Yes, they have accepted the challenge. Like the brothers before me said, we are here to stay, we are not here to leave. And those ones who are trying to divide us, they will never win. And let's just look next to yourself who is standing next to you. Muslim, Christian, Jew, people of no religion, black, white, brown, doesn't matter. And guess what again? Behind you, Yassine, one of the victims of the last terrorist attack at Sainsbury Park. He's just behind you there. That is the message to those few people who want to divide us. We are here to stay. We accept the challenge. You will never win. And we will always not spread punishment day. We spread love, respect. Love, respect, and unity and fraternity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tufik. It's beginning to rain, but I've got 3 more speakers for you very quickly. The first one is Caroline Russell, the Green Councillor in Islington. Caroline.
Thank you very much. I'm here to bring solidarity from the Green Party to everyone who is standing here to stand up against hate crime, race crime, Islamophobia. You are so brave. You're still standing there with the rain pouring down. Thank you, thank you. I think what Mohammed said earlier about that everyday experience of hate crime was very, very powerful. And it is absolutely essential that all Islington residents stand together, refuse to be divided, and love Islington. We stand together, we love Islington, and we will not allow hate crime, racism or Islamophobia in any form in our borough. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Caroline. All political parties, apart from one who happens to be the government, I think are very, very welcome here. The next speaker that I want to introduce is Kaya Cromer-Schwartz, who is the Executive Member for Community Development in Islington. Kaya.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to say there's been so many times since I've been doing this job over the last 18 months that I have been really worried, really scared. Whether it was the attack in Finsbury Park Mosque, whether it's been horrible things happening, generosity and kindness, wanting to care for each other. My mother is Jewish, my father is Zimbabwean. I was born in Whittington Hospital, and that's the point. We are Islington. Every single one of you are Islington. You make it the beautiful place that it is, and I want to thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Kaya. Okay, I think the final speaker here says somewhat uncertainly, because I see there are some young women wearing the scarf here, and it will be a great honour if you came up to give us a few words, because after all, you represent the future for all of us. But while you're considering that, let me introduce to you Ken Muller. Ken Muller is something of a figure in Islington, I've learned since I've been here, and that's really because he has been an indefatigable campaigner against racism and for unity. So without more ado, let me introduce Ken from the National Education Union.
Yay! Right, sisters and brothers, I'm very pleased to be able to come here and bring you a message of solidarity from 1,400 Islington teachers. I've just come back from the National Education Union, which used to be the NUT conference in Brighton, where we passed a motion condemning Islamophobia, condemning the attacks that are being made on our Muslim sisters and brothers, and committing teachers the length and breadth of the country to stand side by side with them. There's an old trade union slogan: an injury to one is an injury to all. So every time a Muslim sister gets her hijab pulled off, every time someone's attacked in the street, and certainly when someone like our brother Makarali is murdered by racists, every one of us feels that injury, every one of us feels that pain. And because of that, Islington teachers who value the diversity of the students we teach and their parents, we value having different ethnic minorities different cultures in our classes, because we don't see them as a problem, we see them as a contribution to our society, to a contribution to our borough. We've got a wonderful borough, and as I'd like to pay tribute, as Dean has, to our MPs, our Labour MPs in our council for supporting this, but particularly for Jeremy Corbyn, who has come under a lot of attack in the last couple of weeks for outrageous slurs of anti-Semitism. I remember Jeremy back in the about 30 years ago on Wood Green, when the National Front were trying to march through Wood Green. Jeremy Corbyn was at the front, standing up to them, standing up to the Nazis, standing up to the anti-Semites. Only 3 or 4 years ago we had a Unite Against Fascism protest in Islington Green, where we stood there because of the rise of because of the BNP and their attempt to devise our community. Emily Thornberry was there, and so was Jeremy. Jeremy Corbyn has got an unblemished record of fighting anti-Semitism, and we will stand beside him as our local MP. So just to finally, when these attacks by these racist filth on our sisters and brothers happen, we should remember it's not just them who are doing it. They are encouraged to do it, and it's being promoted by people with far more power and influence. We should remember the vans going round London not so long ago with "Go Home" on them. Who sent those vans? The person who sent those vans was Theresa May. And one of the main things we were talking about at the NEU conference this weekend was the disgusting attempt to demonise Muslim children, Muslim girls, by saying that they will be questioned by Ofsted, the school inspectors, if young girls are wearing the hijab. We passed a motion at conference saying we would not comply with this. Teachers will not question girls. We will not try and stop Muslim girls from choosing to dress how they want. If they want to wear the hijab, they're entitled to wear the hijab. If they're not entitled to wear it, they're entitled not to wear it. Why are they picking on Muslim girls? Why is it one group of people, one group of children who are being picked on about the way they are dressed? I tell you why it is, because it's racist. If you pick on one ethnic group and you hold them accountable for the way they're dressed, that's racism. And Islington National Education Union has got a very good record of standing up to racism, right back to the 1970s when we stood up against the National Front, when we marched at Wood Green against the National Front, when we stood against the BNP in the 1990s, and we will stand beside our Muslim brothers and sisters. There was a French saying a few years ago when the rise of racism in France was occurring, and it was, "Keep your hands off my friends." And we're saying the same now. Keep your hands off our Muslim brothers and sisters, and we will fight to defend you as we would fight to defend ourselves. Solidarity.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've been very patient, and let me underline how fantastic it is to have the trade unions taking their place in the front, as they have done over the last 100 years. And one of the things that George and Ken emphasised and Mohammed emphasised, is the experience of Muslim men and women at work. They are treated disgracefully. Low pay, long and unsocial hours, and the trade unions have an important role to play, not only in combating racism, but uniting us all in a battle for a better world. Now, you've been very patient, but there is one speaker I want to wind up this rally with, and this is Aisha Buanik. She has responded to our appeal of having the younger generation. She is a secondary school pupil from St Mary Magdalene. Please give a big welcome to Aisha.
I would just like to say a big thank you for everyone who's come to support us, and I would just like to say a big thank you for everyone who's come to support us Muslims, whether you're black or white, with faith or no faith. So when I heard in the mosque that Islam is a beautiful religion, and so is Christianity, and so is Judaism. So I'd just like to thank you so much for coming here and supporting.
Thank you, Aisha, because the truth is that what Aisha has said is echoed in schools up and down the country, and it's up to us to make sure not only the majority who are at home, who are with us, we have to say the time has now come to take action against these people. The time has now come to stand up and be counted. And I'm reminded of what Pastor Niemöller said. He perished in the concentration camps, and what he said was this: first they came for the Jews, and I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak up because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the communists, and I did not speak up because I was not a communist. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up for me. That is the spirit of this meeting. We are determined that history will not repeat itself, and you are the ambassadors to take the anti-Islamophobic, the anti-Semitic message, the non-racist message far and wide in Islington over the next few weeks. Thank you very much for coming, and can I finally draw your attention to the fact that on Monday the 23rd of April in City University there is going to be a film show called Calais Children, A Case to Answer. That is at 6:30 in City University, backed by the two university unions. Mohammed said that if Islamophobia had been directed at another white ethnic group, all hell would let loose. That is equally the case for the refugee children, for the mothers and the fathers who are living in ditches, who are living in woods, not in some far-off Siberia, but in northern France, for God's sake, are supposed to be a civilized country. And therefore I would appeal to you all to come to that meeting and to support our next drive to raise money and support for the refugees in Calais. There will be a trade union delegation going across there on the following weekend, April the 29th and April the 30th. Once again, thank you all so much for attending. Thank you all so much for attending, and we'll see you again, I'm sure. Only next time it'll be even bigger and even more determined. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No way! Muslim people have to stay! Islamophobia! No way! Muslim people here 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 to stay! Yay!
Thank you, yeah. Take care, nice one. أعطي تحياتي لكم السلام عليكم. طبعا الجزائريين كاين واحد ثلاثة سبحان الله جالية راكعة.